My favorite part of being an artist is definitely songwriting. That is the part that comes at me the easiest. I told you how when I first created the song, the only thing I really had in terms of vocals were those chorus harmonies, which was all I could do was cry, hook. So I was sitting on that for a long time and I didn't end up writing it, I want to say till like October or November. I was really just thinking about like, what are things that's made me cry recently? Like I was trying to write about like being too stressed, and I was like, so I decided to write about a moment that I had with my boyfriend, which I've explained also on my TikTok. Let me give y'all the rundown. It wasn't even a disagreement. It was just kind of like a heated conversation. Let's just call it that. The song is not about that conversation. The song is kind of like my reaction to the conversation. How I'm such an avoidant through and through. I study psychology. I know what you should and shouldn't do, and I knew what I was doing was wrong. I don't know if y'all have ever had those moments where like you're just so overwhelmed and you're so full with emotions, whether that's good or bad, and like you don't even know what to say. It's kind of like being really speechless. That's how I was in that situation, and it was kind of toxic and not really good and pretty manipulative. All of my songs are very introspective. I don't really like making songs that are like, you did this, you did that, unless they have some type of element of like, okay, but I also played a part in this too. With All You Could Do Is Cry, the song is definitely about me. And it is very true, as you can tell. I'm telling you the story behind it. For songwriting, there's this acronym that I always use when I'm trying to write a song, or especially if I'm stuck, and it's called a make sure you repeat. So basically when you're trying to write a song, use those 4 steps. First is make. Make means like create an atmosphere, create what is going on in the song. Like, what are you hearing? What are you seeing? Think of it as if you're like in an empty house. Put things in the picture. What is on the ground? What are you smelling? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? The next step is share. Let's just use this for example. A lot of songwriters create songs and melodies by mumble. Sometimes when you mumble words that like don't really make sense, but like they could kind of sound like they could. And if you listen to your mumble over and over again, you can sort of kind of convince yourself that like it is good and gaslight yourself into thinking, you know, it's maybe not that bad. And it is really bad. The sure and make sure you repeat really just stands for like, be sure about your ideas, but don't be certain. Don't be so attached to a word or a phrase or a rhyme or an idea or a concept that you cannot change it, and that you're not open to having other ideas, because maybe you're so stuck on, I need a word that rhymes with this, and I need it. Y'all, you don't need anything. Sometimes you might be so married to a concept that don't make no sense. That don't sound right. The more you listen to your own song, especially if it's a draft, the more your ear gets more accustomed to it and starts liking that version over other versions. I really recommend trying to change things as fast as possible so that you're not so stuck and hung up on certain ideas. And if you don't want to change it, come up with other options. I think that's another great thing to do, is like, okay, there's also this verse, but then I also have this part of the verse. Like I also have these 2. So then you can come back to it later and be like, okay, actually I like the second one better than the first one. I know what I'm talking about. I know. You. The you and make sure you repeat. Originally, it's kind of stood for just like using the word you. Most songs use the word you in the first verse with even the first 2 lines. But when I say make sure you repeat, the you really stands for describe the you. A lot of times in songs, we address songs towards you. You did this, I love you, whatever. But who is the you? What are they like? What did they do? What did they say? Why is it that you like them? I feel like in songs, if you don't describe the you, it can sound a lot more like one-liner phrases versus more of a conversational thing. So describing the person always helps with being more descriptive in songwriting. Repeat is the last thing. I feel like repetitiveness is looked down upon a lot in songs, and you can take it too far, but it's always good to repeat things. Repeating ideas, repeating phrases, repeating the chorus, repeating the title, always trying to find ways to have that kind of repetition. Again, like I said, when you hear something a lot, your ear gets accustomed to it. So when the listener's hearing your song a lot or hearing your lyrics a lot, they can get accustomed to a certain thing. Repetition doesn't even necessarily mean words. Repetition can a lot of times mean melody, making the first verse sound similar to the second verse, or making the chorus sound alike every single time you sing. Those are things that you kind of don't really think about when you're trying to write a song, but sometimes when it's not, it can kind of sound like a lot of things are happening at once and you're not really getting used to anything. So this make sure you repeat structure is something that I came up with, and it's definitely helped me with songwriting. I've really been getting into like the meat of songwriting. You can write a song and like, that's great. I definitely recommend everybody getting into songwriting, and you don't have to have any type of criteria to write a song. This is an actual like art form and like an actual craft. We've been listening to songs in similar ways, at least for me, from like the 1950s. So like there has to be some type of formula and some type of structure that a lot of songs are following, and it's really easy to pick up on them. You just kind of have to know, and once you know these rules, you kind of know what people are accustomed to, and then you kind of know how you can go around breaking them. And I like to use make sure you repeat whenever I'm stuck, especially if I have an idea and I'm just flowing things out. I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, I have to remember to repeat this phrase, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, like this comes in handy, especially if I'm done writing a song and I'm like, okay, did I describe this right? Did I do this right? So yeah, I really love talking about songwriting, as you can tell. For this song specifically, I have a whole playlist of songs that inspired my songwriting.